Okay, think about this for a second. What if the thunder you hear, the rivers that flow, and even the iron that builds our world, what if they weren't just random forces of nature, but actual living spirits? Well, that is the heart of Yoruba mythology. And today, we're going to dive into the incredible story of the Orishas.
So, let's go way, way back. We're talking about a time of pure potential, right? An age of cosmic balance, way before our world as we know it even began. Back then, everything was divided between two fundamental realms.
So, in the beginning, you had Orun. That was the invisible, spiritual realm, up in the heavens, the home of the divine. And then, way down below it, you had Aye, which was just this vast, watery chaos. Basically, a physical world just waiting for its moment to be born.
And overseeing this whole cosmic setup was the supreme creator, Olodumare. And you gotta understand, Olodumare wasn't some distant king on a throne. No, this was the source of everything, the great all-powerful force behind the universe itself.
But here's the thing. Olodumare didn't manage the universe all alone. That's where these powerful spiritual beings known as the Orishas come in. Think of them as the emissaries of the divine, the ones who actually govern all the forces of nature. We're talking everything from thunder and rivers to iron and even human destiny.
Okay, so if Olodumare is the ultimate source of it all, you might be wondering, how did our world actually get made? Well, that story starts with a very sacred task, and it was given to one of the most respected Orishas of them all. The one who stepped forward was Obatala, the Orisha of wisdom, purity, and creation. He was actually known as the King of White Cloth, because he's all about clarity and peace. And it was Obatala who was chosen to come down from the heavens and kick off the whole work of creation.
And the way he did it is really fascinating. Olodumare gave him a few key items: a golden chain to climb down on, a snail shell that was filled with sand, a white hen, and just one single palm seed. So Obatala pours the sand onto the water, and right away, the hen starts scratching and scattering it all around. And boom, that's how the first solid land was created, a place that would be called Ile Ife.
So, with the Earth now formed, Obatala got started on his next huge project, shaping the very first humans out of clay. He carefully molded all their forms, but when he was done, it was Olodumare who actually breathed life into them. This makes Obatala, deeply and intimately connected to our own physical existence.
But, creation is a delicate business. There's this one story that says Obatala drank a little too much palm wine while he was working, and, well, with unsteady hands, he ended up creating people with physical imperfections. He felt so terrible about it that he swore off palm wine forever and actually became the special protector of anyone who is differently abled, which is just a beautiful lesson about compassion. So, Obatala shaped the earth and its people, but he was definitely not alone in running this new world. Let's meet some of the other key divine governors, these incredible forces of nature and life that are so central to this faith.
First up, we have Elegwia, and you cannot overstate how important he is. He's the messenger, the guardian of crossroads. He's the keeper of every single doorway, both physical and spiritual. I mean, no ceremony can even start, no prayer can reach any of the other Orishas without going through him first. He literally controls destiny and fate.
And if you look at his sacred colors, red and black, they perfectly capture this idea. They symbolize the two-sided nature of the paths we face in life. You've got the known and the unknown, the positive and the negative. It's all about the balance of choices that every single one of us has to navigate.
Then you have Ogun. He is the fierce, powerful spirit of iron, technology, and war. Think about it. He represents both the creative and destructive power of metal. Everything from a surgeon's scalpel that saves a life to a warrior's sword that takes one. He's the force that just cuts through obstacles, clearing the way for civilization to move forward.
When you hear a massive thunderstorm, that's said to be the voice of Shango, the mighty king of thunder and lightning. He's all about incredible energy, courage, and passion. But he's not just about power. He's also the Orisha of justice. He's the one who protects the truth with all of that fiery energy.
And then, watching over all the families, is Yamoja. She's the great mother of the oceans and rivers. Her name actually means mother of fish, which is just this beautiful symbol for endless life and fertility. She is the source of all that nurturing, comfort, and emotional healing, as deep and as vast as the very waters she rules.
So the big question is, How did these ancient beliefs, born in West Africa, manage to travel across the entire world and survive one of the most brutal chapters in human history? Well, the story of the Orishas is also a story of incredible, unbelievable resilience.
See, during the transatlantic slave trade, millions of Europo people were forcibly brought to the Americas, places like Cuba, Brazil, the United States. And they carried their faith with them, deep in their hearts. But they faced this constant, brutal threat of having their traditions completely wiped out by their captors.
So to survive, they came up with something absolutely brilliant, a practice of profound spiritual ingenuity called syncretism. What does that mean? It means they hid their Orishas in plain sight. They cleverly merged their own deities with the Catholic saints that were being forced on them, finding these amazing similarities between them.
And here's a perfect example of how that worked. Take an Orisha like Shango, the master of thunder and lightning. He was syncretized with Saint Barbara, who happens to be a Catholic saint also associated with protection from lightning. See how that works? Or El Legua, the gatekeeper of Crossroads, was connected with Saint Anthony. This clever move allowed their traditions to survive, hidden right under the surface.
This incredible fusion of beliefs eventually gave rise to new spiritual practices, like Santeria in Cuba. So, how does this vibrant faith communicate with the divine today? Well, it all comes down to rhythm.
In special ceremonies, music and drumming aren't just for entertainment. No, they are a direct line of communication to the spiritual world. The rhythms themselves are prayers. The beats are powerful invitations, literally calling the Orishas to come down and join the people.
And at the heart of this practice are the sacred bata drums. Now, this set of 3 drums aren't just instruments, they're considered living beings. And here's the amazing part. Because Yoruba is a tonal language, the drums are believed to literally speak. They recite ancient prayers and call out to each Orisha, using their own specific, unique rhythm.
The poet Adrian Castro just captures this power so perfectly. No matter what, the language of the drum could not be silenced. It was, as he says, the ancestors' mother tongue, a thundering reminder of who they were, where they came from, their very identity and spirit. So when you put it all together, from the creation myths to the resounding drums, what is the real enduring legacy of the Orishas? What can this ancient tradition teach all of us today?
Well, the core belief is this: the universe is alive. The forces that we see all around us in nature, the storms, the rivers, even iron, they aren't just random chaotic things. They are living spirits. They're powerful energies that we can actually connect with, learn from, and try to live in harmony with.
This tradition, still thriving all across the globe today, leaves us with one final, pretty powerful question to think about for ourselves. If the forces of our world really did have a voice, what do you think they'd be trying to tell us?